2011 will go down in global history as the year of the Arab Spring, and it all started in Tunisia. President Ben Ali eventually abandoned office, Saudi Arabia bound. Weeks later, Egypt's President Hosni Mubarak relinquished part of the country's military. Libya, Yemen and Bahrain followed suit with protests. Back in West Africa, with the help of the French military, Côte d'Ivoire's dictator Laurent Gbagbo was escorted out of the presidential palace and to the ICC. His opponents during the disputed presidential election that took place in November last year, Alassane Ouattara, is now recognized as the country's rightful president. October saw the release of Israeli soldiers Gilad Shalit, who arrived back in his northern hometown of Mitzpeh Hilla after 5 years of captivity in Gaza.
Despite the circumstances and the turmoil going on in Egypt, I have to also thank the Egyptian authorities that treated me respectfully, according to the tenets of their religion, made sure that I was fed well, respected me, and made sure that no one harmed me anyway.
Shalit was freed after Israel and the Islamist movement Hamas agreed a deal under which more than 1,000 Palestinians would also be released. During the UN General Assembly in September, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas presented a bid for recognition of the country by the world body. The United States declared outright it would veto the vote supported by Israel. As the uprisings in the Arab world continued, Syria's President Bashar al-Assad tried to clamp down on protesters. International journalists were banned from entering the country, and many reports could not be independently verified. The UN claims about 5,000 people have been killed since the protests began in March. Amateur videos of clashes between security forces and the protesters leaked on the internet. President al-Assad has neither stepped down nor stopped trying to quell the protests, which has spread beyond the capital, Damascus. Perhaps the greatest victory of the Arab Spring came with the capture and death of Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi after 42 years in power.
This marks the end of a long and painful chapter for the people of Libya, who now have the opportunity to determine their own destiny in a new and democratic Libya.
I think today is a day to remember all of Colonel Gaddafi's victims, from those who died in connection with the Pan Am flight over Lockerbie, to Yvonne Fletcher in a London street, and obviously all the victims of IRA terrorism who died through their use of Libyan Semtex.
The death of the Libyan leader was only second to that of the world's most wanted man, Osama bin Laden.
I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children.
Natural disasters also made headlines. Japan is still reeling from the effects of the 8.9 magnitude earthquake that devastated northeast of the country. A state of emergency was declared at the Fukushima Daiichi plant, where pressure exceeded normal levels. Numbers of the dead kept rising. In late October, Turkey was hit by its largest earthquake in more than a decade, believed to have killed more than 1,000 people. It destroyed apartment buildings and damaged 4,000 homes in the eastern province of Van. The magnitude 7.2 earthquake, which struck in the province of Van by the Iranian border, was followed by more than 80 aftershocks. And as the year draws to a close, North Korea tearfully announced the death of longtime leader Kim Jong-il. He is succeeded by his son Kim Jong-un, who has already met 2 delegations from South Korea. Analysts believe Kim's death may open up the North's relations with the South in the coming year.
Presidential